Hello there, and welcome to the Snoozy Scientist. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Maybe you're already curled up under the covers, lights dimmed low, or maybe you're lying there with your eyes half closed, hoping sleep will come find you soon. Wherever you are, this is your gentle invitation to slow down, breathe deeply, and let your mind drift for a while. Tonight, we're going to explore a question that has floated through human minds for as long as we've dreamed under the stars. Where does your mind really go when you sleep? Not just the mechanics of closing your eyes, but that deeper and more mysterious voyage, that spark behind your eyes, your awareness. Where does it drift when you finally let go? Don't worry, we're not here to solve every mystery tonight. We're here to float with it, like a small boat on a calm sea under moonlight, letting the question rock us gently toward rest. Before we push off from shore, if you find comfort in these gentle, curious rambles, these quiet voyages through science and sleep, it would mean so much if you could tap the like button, just softly. And if you'd like to drift along with me again next time, you're always welcome to subscribe. Tell me in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. I love imagining all your quiet minds scattered across the world under different skies. So take a deep, slow breath in, let it out like a tide rolling away from shore. Let your shoulders soften, your thoughts grow lighter. We're about to slip beneath the surface and gently wonder, where does consciousness really go when we sleep? Chapter 1. The Gentle Fade. How Consciousness Slips Away. There is something deeply mysterious and beautiful about the way we leave the waking world each night. Few moments in life are as delicate and yet as certain as the drifting away of our awareness when sleep begins to pull us under its soft current. Every night, without effort, our busy minds step away from the noise of the day, the unfinished lists, the spoken words, and the unspoken worries. There is no grand announcement that sleep has arrived. Instead, there is a gentle fade, like twilight slowly swallowing the last rays of the sun. Picture yourself lying down after a long day. The bed beneath you supports your weight fully. Your body sinks just a little deeper into the mattress as you finally let go of the tension that you did not even realize you were holding in your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. Your eyes, once wide open and moving quickly to track the world around you, now grow heavier with every blink. The muscles around them relax. You feel your eyelids flutter like slow, lazy curtains in a breeze. They begin to close, open slightly, then close again, this time for longer. Your breath starts to tell its own story. It slows without you commanding it. What was once shallow and quick during the day's demands now becomes long and drawn out. Each inhale is a wave rolling in, and each exhale is a gentle retreat back into the sea. You might not notice at first, but your breath begins to match the soft rhythm of your heartbeat, like an orchestra tuning down to a single steady hum. Thoughts that were loud and demanding now feel like they are moving farther away. They do not disappear all at once. They drift. Imagine standing at the shore, pushing a small paper boat into the water. At first it stays close to the bank, rocking gently, then it catches the current and drifts farther and farther away until you can no longer see it. This is what happens to your thoughts. Some cling to the edge of your mind for a moment, reminding you about tomorrow's tasks or replaying today's conversations, but slowly they lose their grip, carried off by the flow of your slowing mind. Inside your body, you may notice a comforting heaviness. It is not the heaviness of exhaustion, but the peaceful weight of surrender. Your arms grow warm and limp at your sides. Your legs no longer twitch with restlessness. You feel your body becoming a quiet presence. Your senses, once tuned to every sound and light, begin to close their doors one by one. The hum of the world outside your window becomes background noise, like a lullaby you do not fully hear but feel in your bones. Sometimes you may feel a tiny jolt, that quick muscle spasm just before sleep catches you completely. This is your brain's final check to see if you are safe. It is as if your body asks, "Are we sure we can let go?" And the answer, night after night, is yes, you can let go. You can release the need to hold your guard up for one more moment. In this gentle fade, you cross from the shore of wakefulness into the vast, dark waters of sleep. The edge is soft and inviting. There is no abrupt line where the waking world ends and sleep begins. It is a slow slide, a twilight within the mind where images appear without warning. You see flashes of light or shapes that make no sense. Maybe you hear a voice that calls your name, but there is no one there. These are signs that the doorway is open. The mind that was once your driver becomes a dreamer, and then, without ever saying goodbye, your awareness floats. The shores of your room, your bed, your waking thoughts are left behind. You are carried deeper into the ocean of sleep, where dreams wait like hidden islands, each one ready to tell you a story that only the night can hold. Every time you sleep, you practice surrender. You trust that the world will go on without you for a few hours. You trust that your heart will keep beating, your lungs will keep rising and falling, and your mind will restore itself quietly in the shadows. You let go of control, and in that letting go, you find rest. So tonight, as your eyelids grow heavy, remember that you are safe to drift. Let your breath slow. Let your thoughts drift away like paper boats on calm waters. Feel the gentle fade. Feel yourself slip beneath the waves of wakefulness into the soft, healing dark. There, the gentle fade becomes a promise. Sleep is not an ending, but a passage to a place where your spirit can breathe, recover, and dream again. Chapter 2: Hypnagogia, the Twilight Shoreline. There is a quiet, secret place your mind visits every night without you even realizing how special it is. It is called hypnagogia, the drifting passage between being fully awake and completely asleep. It is a shoreline for your thoughts, a gentle borderland where you stand half in the world you know and half in the world you are about to dream. Some call it the twilight of consciousness. Others call it the bridge between reality and dreams. No matter what you call it, hypnagogia is a remarkable part of your nightly journey. Imagine you are lying down after a long day. Your body has grown warm under your blanket. Your shoulders have dropped their weight into the bed. You feel the tension slide down your back and into the mattress. Your eyelids are heavy now, but you are not asleep yet. You can still hear the hum of the fan, the soft rustle of sheets when you shift your legs. But slowly these details fade into the background, like a distant shoreline when you are knee-deep in water. In this in-between place, your mind begins to do something wonderful. Thoughts become softer, looser. Images start to flicker like tiny sparks behind your eyes. Maybe you see shapes that twist and change. A face appears, then a swirl of color replaces it. A field of flowers flashes by, but vanishes before you can understand why it is there. These drifting pictures do not stay long enough to make sense. They are half dreams, bits of your imagination waking up before sleep takes full control. You might hear things too. A voice might whisper your name. You might catch the echo of a song you did not listen to all day. You may hear the murmur of a crowd that does not exist. These sounds are not coming from the world around you. They are your mind's way of telling you it is letting go of the day. Some people describe it like standing knee-deep in a gentle surf. You feel the cool push and pull of water around your legs. You are not swimming yet, but you are no longer standing dry on the shore. Scientists say this drifting state is a gift to our creativity. Many artists and inventors have used these moments on purpose. Thomas Edison would hold steel balls in his hands while sitting in a chair. As soon as he started to slip into sleep, the balls would drop and wake him up. In that fragile moment, ideas would come to him that he could not find while wide awake. It was in this twilight state that some of his greatest solutions took shape. Salvador Dali did something similar. He believed his best ideas lived in the gap between the waking world and the dream world. He called it the place where the mind is free to bend reality without rules. Your brain in hypnagogia opens a door that is usually closed. It loosens the ropes that keep your thoughts tidy. It mixes memories with imagination. It blurs your senses so that what you hear and what you see might blend together in odd ways. You might feel a jolt, a sudden muscle twitch that startles you. This is your body's final check before surrendering fully to sleep. It is like standing on the sand while the tide rises to your knees, then your waist, gently encouraging you to let go and drift. There is something so comforting about this state when you pay attention to it. It reminds you that you do not have to force sleep. You do not have to grab it with your hands. Sleep comes like the tide, slowly covering you, inch by inch, until you float freely in its dark waters. Hypnagogia is your passageway, your stepping stone, your chance to wander without the burden of making sense of it all. So tonight, when you lie down and feel yourself drifting, do not rush past this magical shoreline. Notice the flashes of light behind your eyes. Listen for the soft voices that mean nothing and everything all at once. Feel how your body relaxes, as if the sand beneath your feet is turning to water. You are safe here. You are standing at the edge of something bigger than your daily worries. Each image, each sound, each twitch of your muscles is a wave pulling you deeper into rest. Trust that you will not be lost. Trust that when you step off the sand and let the surf carry you, you will drift into the kind of sleep that heals your mind, calms your spirit, and opens the door to dreams. Hypnagogia is not just a scientific stage of sleep, it is the twilight shoreline of your soul, reminding you every night that even in letting go, you are gently carried where you need to go. Let the surf wash over your feet. Let the tide rise. Let yourself drift. Chapter 3: Brainwaves and Ocean Tides. And ocean tides, pihoned creedest first woes. Your mind is never truly still. Even when you sit quietly with your eyes closed, your brain is a vast ocean of electrical activity, constantly shifting and flowing in invisible patterns. Scientists have learned that these patterns are made up of brain waves, gentle currents of electrical impulses that rise and fall depending on what you think, feel, and do. These brain waves are like the tides of the ocean, each one with its own rhythm, each one carrying you deeper into rest as night draws you away from the shore of wakefulness. Imagine the start of your day. You are alert, your eyes wide open to every sight and sound. Your mind is full of thoughts. What must I get done today? Where do I need to be? What did I forget? In these moments, your brain is alive with fast-moving beta waves. Beta waves are like the crashing waves on a busy beach. They are quick, energetic, and sometimes restless. They help you focus, solve problems, and make decisions. But too much beta for too long can feel overwhelming, like standing too close to the breaking surf, feeling every wave slam against your legs without relief. When you close your eyes at the end of the day, your breath slows and your thoughts begin to soften. The crashing waves start to calm. This is when your brain shifts from beta into alpha waves. Alpha waves are slower, smoother. They are like the gentle ripples that lap at the shore when the tide begins to settle. In this state, your mind is relaxed but still aware. Many people experience alpha waves when they are daydreaming, meditating, or enjoying a quiet walk in nature. It is the calm water where you can float for a while, letting go of stress and tension that gathered during the day. As you drift closer to sleep, The tide changes again. Alpha waves give way to theta waves. These waves are slower and more dreamlike. They appear when you are falling asleep or deeply relaxed. Theta waves feel like wading deeper into the ocean, the water now rising past your knees and swirling around your waist. You are no longer focused on the world outside. Your mind begins to wander, random thoughts bubble up, flashes of color and forgotten memories drift by like seaweed carried by the current. In this theta state, you are halfway between the waking world and the place where dreams are born. Theta waves invite your creativity to come out and play. Many artists and musicians love this state because it frees the mind from the rules of logic. It allows you to make connections you would never see during the busyness of the day. Ideas rise like hidden treasures from the ocean floor, only visible when the tide is low and the waters are clear. And then finally, when sleep fully embraces you, the ocean's deepest tide pulls you even further away from shore. This is where delta waves roll in. Delta waves are the slowest, most peaceful of all brain waves. They appear during the deepest stages of sleep, when your body is healing, growing, and restoring itself. Delta waves are like the quiet depths of the sea, where sunlight no longer reaches, where everything is still and weightless. In this state, your body releases growth hormones, repairs tissues, and strengthens your immune system. Your mind drifts in the slow currents, unbothered by the noise of the world above. When you wake in the morning, the tide reverses. Delta waves fade away as your brain rises back up through the layers. You pass through theta again, then alpha, and finally your mind reaches the shore of beta once more. It is like swimming upward from the ocean's floor, breaking the surface to greet the sunlight and the noise of a brand new day. Understanding your brain's natural tides is a gentle reminder that you do not have to force sleep to come. You do not have to command your mind to be still. You simply have to step back from the crashing waves of the day and let your thoughts slow with each tide. You can trust that your brain knows how to drift from beta to alpha, from alpha to theta, and from theta to delta, each wave a deeper, softer place to rest. So tonight, as you lie down to sleep, imagine the ocean inside your mind. Picture the busy waves receding, the calm ripples settling your thoughts, the deeper currents carrying you away from the shore. Let each breath be a tide pulling you further from worry and closer to rest. Remember that even in the dark and quiet, your brain is at work, guiding you through its natural cycles, renewing your mind and restoring your spirit. The tides of the ocean and the waves of your brain remind you that rest is not an empty pause, but a sacred rhythm, a promise that tomorrow will come and you will rise again, carried back to shore by the gentle surf of a mind made new. Chapter 4: Light Sleep. Floating just below the surface. Picture yourself lying comfortably in bed. The day is behind you, and the noise of your thoughts has begun to fade, like distant echoes across a calm lake. Your eyelids have settled shut, your breathing is slow and steady, and your body feels heavier than it did just a few minutes ago. You are no longer standing at the shoreline of wakefulness, but you have not yet plunged into the deep ocean of dreams either. You are floating just below the surface in what is known as light sleep, the first gentle layers of non-REM sleep. Think of this stage like a quiet swim in shallow water. You are submerged enough that the world above seems muffled, but you can still sense the light and the warmth of the surface if you drift upward. Your mind is not fully awake, but it is not deeply asleep either. You are held in this in-between space where your body begins its first real rest. During light sleep, your muscles finally start to relax after a day of tension. Sometimes, though, your brain sends little sparks of activity down your nerves. This is why you might feel a sudden twitch in your arm or leg, a gentle kick that startles you for a moment, before you sink deeper again. Scientists call this a hypnic jerk, but to you it might feel like the quick jolt you get when you dream you are falling. It is your mind's way of checking if your body is safe to let go completely. Your senses drift in and out. You may hear a faint sound outside your window or a floorboard creak down the hall. These little noises seem far away now, as if you are listening to them from underwater. You know they are there, but they do not pull you fully back to the surface. You are floating just beneath the ripple of waking life, rocking gently in the soft current of light sleep. In this stage, your thoughts come and go like tiny fish swimming past your vision. One moment you remember something funny from your day, and the next moment you see an image that does not belong to any memory at all. A shape, a color, a familiar face mixed with an unfamiliar place. None of it holds for long. Each thought drifts by before your mind reaches out to grab it. You are not dreaming in full stories yet, just tasting the edges of dreams to come. Your body's temperature drops slightly, inviting you deeper into rest. Your heart beats a little slower. Your breathing is calm, a soft rise and fall like ocean waves on a quiet shore. Your brain begins to release the chemical messengers that will carry you toward deeper sleep. But for now, you stay just below the surface, feeling the gentle pull of sleep tugging at your mind. This stage of sleep is a gift because it gives you a place to linger before surrendering completely. Imagine floating in a warm lagoon. The water supports you. You feel safe enough to drift. You know you could open your eyes and swim to shore if you wanted to, but you have no need to do so. You are content to let the current rock you, to let the water hold your weight. Many people experience little flashes of imagination during light sleep. You may feel like you have been somewhere else for just a second, standing in your childhood home, seeing someone you have not seen in years, or hearing a song you have never heard before. It happens so quickly that when you wake later, you may not even remember it. These flashes are your mind's way of testing the boundaries between your conscious thoughts and the deeper world of your dreams. Light sleep is like the first slow step into a peaceful night's journey. It prepares your body and your mind for the deeper healing that comes later. It teaches you that you can let go in stages, trusting that you do not have to sink all at once. Just as you do not dive headfirst into the ocean without feeling the water first, your mind does not dive straight into the depths of dreaming without pausing in these gentle shallows. Tonight, when you find yourself floating just below the surface, do not rush to get deeper right away. Let your body twitch and shift as it finds its comfort. Let your thoughts wander like driftwood carried on a quiet tide. Trust that the deeper currents will come and carry you when you are ready. For now, you are safe in the shallows, your body weightless, your mind unburdened. Float here for a while, rocked by the calm promise that sleep is a sea wide enough to hold all your worries, all your memories, and all your dreams until morning comes again. Chapter 5: The Descent. Deep sleep and slow wave depths. There comes a moment every night when you drift far beyond the gentle shallows of light sleep. You slip quietly past the soft waves of your drifting thoughts and pass through the veil that separates dreams from deep rest. You descend into the deepest part of sleep, a place called slow wave sleep or deep sleep. It is here that your mind grows quieter than at any other time of day or night. It is here that your body begins to heal itself in ways you cannot see or feel, but will carry you through tomorrow stronger than before. Imagine yourself as a diver. You have left the bright surface behind where the sunlight sparkles and dances on the waves. You swim deeper and deeper, each kick taking you further into the dark blue, into the calm that waits far below. The further you go, the quieter it becomes. The rush of noise that fills your waking hours fades like a distant echo. Thoughts that once clamored for attention grow dim. At this depth, your mind stops replaying the day. It stops planning tomorrow. It stops worrying about what was or what might be. It simply lets go. In this slow wave state, your brain's rhythms shift into their lowest frequency. These waves roll like gentle ocean swells that move unhurried and strong across the vast sea floor. Scientists call these delta waves. They are the deepest, slowest waves your brain produces. They mark a sacred time when your mind is not dreaming in vivid stories, but resting in a place of quiet surrender. There is a reason why slow wave sleep is often called the most restorative part of your entire sleep cycle. In this underwater world of your mind, your body does its most important work. Your muscles fully relax. Your cells begin to repair themselves from the stress and strain of the day. Tissues grow. Energy is restored. Your immune system strengthens its defenses, fighting off invaders you may never know you faced. Hormones that rebuild and renew are released in steady waves, moving through your bloodstream like a warm current. If you have ever woken up after a night of deep, undisturbed sleep, feeling like you could lift the world on your shoulders, you have felt the power of these slow wave depths. Here, your mind is not busy with vivid dreams. There may be small fragments drifting by like shadows in the dark water, but they do not carry the colorful stories of REM sleep. Instead, this is the mind's still point. This is the bottom of the ocean, where the sand is undisturbed, where the water is clear and heavy with silence. This silence is not empty. It is rich with purpose. It is in this silence that your memories are sorted and stored. Your brain quietly decides which moments from the day to keep and which to release like pebbles falling away into the deep. Deep sleep protects your mental health too. It is during this time that your brain flushes away waste that builds up from its hard work during the day. Like a gentle tide, cerebrospinal fluid moves through your brain, clearing out toxins that can cloud your thinking and weigh down your focus. Without this cleansing, your thoughts would feel heavy, your mind foggy, your memory dulled. Many people spend their lives craving this depth without realizing it. Long nights of shallow sleep never quite reach the ocean floor. Stress, caffeine, noise, or restlessness can keep you trapped in the shallows. But your body longs for the deep. It needs this place where you are fully unguarded, fully at rest, where your heartbeat slows, your breath grows steady, and your spirit feels weightless. Imagine again the diver who reaches the bottom. There is no struggle there, no rush to move. There is only a sense of surrender. The world above is far away. The worries and the plans are left behind on the surface. In this place, you are fully yourself and yet completely free. You drift in darkness that does not frighten you but soothes you. You trust the water to hold you. You trust the quiet to heal you. When you rise from deep sleep in the early hours of the morning, you do not remember this descent in detail. You will not recall what your mind sorted through or how your cells repaired themselves, but you will feel the difference in your bones, in your mind's clarity, in the calm that stays with you like sunlight on your skin long after you have come back to shore. So tonight, as you lay your head down, know that you are not just drifting off into dreams, you are diving into a sanctuary beneath the surface of your thoughts. Trust the descent. Trust that when you reach the bottom, you will find not darkness to fear, but depths that hold you safe until the light of a new day calls you back up to breathe again. Chapter 6, Where Awareness Goes. Theories about Deep Sleep. Each night, as you drift past the gentle waves of light sleep and sink into the slow, steady currents of deep sleep, a mystery unfolds within you, one that has fascinated scientists philosophers and dreamers for centuries. What happens to your awareness when you enter this deep, silent place? Where does your sense of self go when the body lies so still and the mind grows so quiet? Does consciousness simply pause like a book closed and waiting to be read again? Or does it drift into hidden rooms where it does work that our waking minds could never fully understand? Neuroscientists have studied deep sleep for many years, trying to map its pathways and name its secrets. They know that when you reach this slow wave stage, your brain's electrical activity shifts into its lowest gear. Massive waves of synchronized firing sweep across your cortex like a calm, rolling sea. Your brain is not gone, but it is doing something very different than when you are awake or even when you dream. The busy chatter of your thoughts has stopped. The constant storytelling of your mind is hushed. The question is, what happens to the awareness that watches all of this during the day? One theory says that during deep sleep, your conscious self goes completely offline. It is like a computer that powers down to protect its circuits from overheating. In this view, your awareness is not destroyed or erased. It is simply resting in a darkened room, unneeded while the body repairs and the brain resets. Some scientists believe this pause is what makes consciousness possible in the first place. Just as you must breathe out after you breathe in, the mind must have its empty space in order to be fully alive when it wakes again. Others see it differently. They believe that your awareness does not shut down, but shifts its focus inward. Instead of observing the outside world, it travels through hidden corridors within the brain, doing deep housekeeping. Here, memories are replayed and strengthened or gently let go. Emotions that weighed on you during the day are filed away in proper places, sometimes losing their sting by morning. In this sense, your awareness transforms during deep sleep. It is no longer your thinking mind, but a silent guardian, tending the garden of your inner life. A few even wonder if consciousness might wander further still. Some spiritual thinkers suggest that when we reach deep sleep, we touch something bigger than our ordinary minds. In many ancient traditions, this dreamless place is seen as a return to the source, a brief reunion with something sacred that lies beyond our daily sense of self. Some call it the purest form of rest, where your spirit remembers that it is more than thoughts and worries and tasks to complete. In this view, deep sleep is not empty, but full of quiet connection to something greater than we can see. Yet even with modern machines and brain scans, no one can say with absolute certainty where awareness goes when your eyelids flutter closed and your breath grows deep and steady. We can measure the waves and chart the patterns. We can see which parts of the brain grow active and which grow silent. But the feeling of being you, that spark that knows you are here, slips beyond the reach of wires and monitors. It goes somewhere we cannot follow with our eyes open. Perhaps this is why deep sleep feels so magical to so many of us. You lie down burdened by the noise of the day, and you rise hours later with no memory of the passage through the night. You trust the process without ever fully seeing it happen. You trust that your mind will return from its journey, sharper and clearer than before. You trust that your body will wake strong and whole, the aches and pains of the day washed away by unseen tides. So what happens to your awareness in deep sleep? Maybe it pauses, maybe it wanders through the inner rooms of your mind, sweeping out the clutter. Maybe it merges with something timeless that we touch only in the darkness behind our eyes. Whatever the truth may be, you can rest in the wonder of it tonight. You do not have to control this mystery. You do not have to understand it completely to receive its gifts. When you lie down tonight, think of your awareness as a traveler with a lantern. You hand the lantern to sleep itself and say, guide me through this darkened forest. Let my mind rest where I cannot see. Let my spirit do the work that words could never name. Then drift with quiet confidence that in the morning your awareness will come back to you like a wave returning to the shore, renewed, restored, and ready to live another day. Chapter 7: Dreamless Oceans. The silent depths of the mind. There is a place your mind visits each night that is so quiet, so deep, that it feels like slipping beneath the surface of all thought and drifting into a hidden ocean trench. It is here in this dreamless state that you experience the purest form of rest. You are alive but unaware. Your heart beats, your lungs rise and fall, your blood moves steadily through your veins, but the chatter of your mind, the endless stream of images and words and plans, falls away completely. You are a living presence without the constant reminder that you exist. Imagine it as a vast underwater trench, deeper than any place sunlight can reach. The upper layers of the ocean may dance with waves and life, fish flickering through beams of light, currents carrying whispers of motion. But as you drift downward, the water grows darker, heavier, and more still. The currents calm, and the creatures that live here are rare, quiet, perfectly adapted to the silence. When you enter this dreamless ocean of your mind, there are no stories to remember, no strange half-real scenes to pull apart when you wake. There are no flashes of color like those you see in the drifting state of light sleep. There is no vivid narrative to replay the next morning as you might with your wildest dreams. This is the pure blank canvas of sleep, the place where your awareness sinks so deep that it seems to disappear altogether. Yet you are not gone. You are not lost. You are simply resting in a space that holds you without question. It is like lying at the bottom of this ocean trench, where the weight of the water presses around you in a way that feels protective rather than crushing. Here, your mind lets go of everything that it clings to during the day. You do not have to remember who you are or what must be done tomorrow. You do not have to hold on to the shape of your own identity. It drifts apart like grains of sand, suspended in the deep water until you rise again. Some scientists believe this state is when your brain does its greatest work. Without the noise of awareness, it can repair the delicate pathways that store your memories. It can flush out waste that clouds your thinking and renew cells that have carried the burden of your waking hours. This silent depth is not just emptiness, it is full of quiet labor that you will never see, but will always benefit from. What does it feel like to be alive yet unaware? Imagine yourself as a diver who has slipped so deep into the ocean that you no longer see the light from above. You cannot tell how far you have come or how far you have left to go. You float in this hush, suspended between the weight of the water and the pull of the ocean floor. You feel no fear because you know this place is not meant to be feared. It is a sanctuary carved into the mind itself. It is a chamber of stillness that invites you to rest without interruption. Sometimes you might wonder where your thoughts go when you slip into this trench. Where is the voice that talks you through each worry and every plan? Where are the images and the memories and the constant chatter that so often feels impossible to quiet when you are awake? The answer is both simple and profound. They are set aside. They are hushed by the slow rhythm of delta waves, those low sweeping tides that wash over your brain in gentle rolling patterns. The same waves that cradle your thoughts into silence also guard you from waking too soon. Deep within these dreamless oceans, time feels meaningless. There is no clock ticking in the dark, no memory of how long you have drifted there. Hours pass in what feels like a single heartbeat. You are restored by the very absence of thought, by the chance to be nothing more than breath and heartbeat and life itself. You return to the surface when your body has done what it needs to do. You emerge with no memory of how you traveled through this secret world, but your body knows. Your mind knows. You feel it in the ease in your muscles, in the brightness of your eyes, in the clarity of your thoughts as you begin a new day. So tonight, as you lie down and feel yourself drifting, remember that the deepest rest awaits you in this hidden trench. Let your awareness slip away like a diver sinking below the waves. Trust the darkness to hold you. Trust the silence to heal you. You do not have to do anything to earn this gift. It is yours simply because you are human, made to be renewed by the very depths you cannot see. In these dreamless oceans, you will find what your busy mind could never create on its own, a peace so deep it whispers to you without words that you are safe, you are whole, and you are free to rise again. Chapter 8: The Sleeping Body as a Coral Reef. When you lie down at night and your eyelids close, you might think of sleep as a time when everything inside you stops. Your mind drifts into darkness. Your thoughts dissolve into distant waves. It feels like your whole being shuts down for the night. But under the surface of that deep quiet, a remarkable story unfolds. Your sleeping body becomes like a coral reef, a living, breathing world where countless tiny acts of renewal happen in secret. Picture a coral reef at night. To the outside eye, it looks still. The ocean's surface may be calm, the moonlight gliding across gentle swells, but below the surface, life hums with activity. Tiny coral polyps extend their delicate tentacles into the dark water, drawing in nutrients to feed themselves and the entire reef community. Fish that hide during the day emerge to feed under the cover of night. Small currents carry oxygen and food to every corner of this underwater city. It is a world alive with restoration. Your body, as you sleep, is just like this hidden reef. Though your conscious mind slips away into dreamless oceans or vivid visions, your cells continue their work. While you rest, millions of tiny processes repair what the day has worn down. Skin cells damaged by sun and wind are mended by fresh protein strands, woven carefully together like coral building its limestone skeleton. Tiny fractures and bones, invisible to your eyes, begin to knit themselves strong again. Even the cells of your muscles worn by stress or work are bathed in a flow of healing chemicals that wash away the day's strain. Your immune system, which works all day to defend you, uses these silent hours to grow stronger. While you drift through deep waves of sleep, your body releases cytokines, little messenger proteins that help you fight off infections and inflammation. White blood cells patrol your bloodstream like tiny fish weaving through coral branches, seeking out invaders and flushing away what does not belong. Without this nightly maintenance, your reef would weaken, becoming more vulnerable to disease and damage. Your brain, too, joins this quiet labor. During the deepest phases of sleep, your brain's glial cells act like the reef's small currents, sweeping away waste that has gathered while you are awake. It is as if the tide flows through the coral, carrying away old particles so that new growth can flourish. By morning, your mind feels clearer because it has been rinsed clean, prepared to learn again, remember again, and see the world with fresh eyes. Even your heart and blood vessels find their restoration here. The gentle lowering of your heart rate during sleep is not just rest, it is repair. Blood pressure dips, giving your arteries and veins a break from the constant push and pull of waking life. This is the reef's quiet tide, the soft flow that keeps everything alive. Studies show that people who do not reach these deeper stages of sleep often feel the consequences in their bodies. Their reefs erode faster, their health becomes fragile, and the tiny workers within them grow weary. If you could peer inside your body as you sleep, you might be amazed to see this hidden world at work. Tiny sparks of energy move through your cells, repairing strands of DNA damaged by the day's wear. Hormones like growth hormones surge and fall like ocean swells, guiding tissue to mend, bones to strengthen, and muscles to grow. All of this happens while you are wrapped in blankets, unaware that such a complex dance is taking place in the dark. The coral reef cannot build itself in daylight alone. It needs the calm and cover of the night to extend its polyps and gather what it needs. You too are designed this way. Your best healing happens not when you are busy or trying to force it, but when you allow sleep to carry you to that still place where your inner reef can thrive. This is why sleep is not just rest. It is a time of secret work, a testament to the wisdom built into your body since the moment you first drew breath. Tonight, as you lie down and feel your mind drift, remember this living reef within you. Know that while your thoughts sink into dreams or into that dreamless ocean of pure rest, your cells are reaching out like coral polyps, gathering what they need to repair and grow strong. They are weaving you back together. They are keeping your inner world vibrant, connected, and alive. Trust the sleeping body to do what it knows how to do. Trust the quiet hours to restore you as faithfully as the ocean nurtures its reefs. And when you wake to the sunlight breaking over your own surface once more, remember the hidden wonder that happened while you slept. A reef renewed, a body restored, ready to face the world again. Chapter 9, REM Sleep, the mind's sudden spark. After drifting through the gentle shallows of light sleep and sinking into the quiet abyss of deep, slow-wave sleep, your mind stirs once more. Slowly but surely, you begin to rise from those silent depths where your awareness floated in a world without dreams. You do not wake up yet, but you do enter a new realm where the brain flickers back to life like a match struck in the dark. This is REM sleep, the stage where the mind finds its sudden spark, setting the night aglow with visions and stories, as real as waking life, yet untethered by its rules. REM stands for rapid eye movement, a name that only hints at the vivid activity happening behind your closed eyelids. From the outside, someone watching you sleep might see your eyes darting back and forth beneath your lids, as if scanning a world that only you can see. To the sleeper, these tiny movements go unnoticed, but they are like the flick of a paintbrush across a canvas, each twitch matching the wild imagery flickering inside your mind. Your heart beats a little faster now, stirred by dreams that race with energy and emotion. Your breathing grows more irregular, sometimes shallow, sometimes deep, as your mind drifts through landscapes that shift with each passing second. If deep sleep was the still ocean trench, REM sleep is like diving through a realm where bioluminescent creatures shimmer and swirl. Light and color dance in the dark, forming shapes that defy the ordinary rules of reality. In REM sleep, the brain's electrical patterns look remarkably like they do when you are fully awake. Regions that handle emotion, memory, and senses blaze with activity. This is why your dreams feel so real. You can taste the sweetness of a fruit you have never eaten. You can feel the warmth of the sun on your skin in a place that does not exist. You can hear voices and songs as clear as if they were carried on the breeze through your open window. This sensory detail is the brain's spark, bringing your hidden thoughts to life with color and sound. No longer bound by reason, your mind lets go of logic's tight grip. A door becomes a river. A childhood friend becomes a stranger with your mother's voice. You fly. You run through cities that shift under your feet. You stand on mountain peaks that turn into the hallways of your old school. Dreams in REM sleep bend time, space, and identity. They are not bound by the rules you know when the sun is up. Instead, they are the living proof that your mind is far more creative than you often allow it to be when you are awake. The body, wise in its design, protects you from acting out these nighttime adventures. During REM sleep, the brain gently shuts off the pathways that send movement commands to your limbs. Your muscles are temporarily paralyzed, a safety measure that keeps you from climbing out of bed to run with the tigers or leap from the imagined cliff you stand upon in your dreams. Only your eyes and your breath reveal the spark that dances behind your closed lids. Scientists still debate why we dream so vividly in REM sleep. Some believe it is how we process our emotions, giving shape to fears and desires that we cannot easily name when we are awake. Others see dreams as the mind's rehearsal room, where you practice scenarios that might help you navigate the waking world. Maybe your brain is sorting through memories, stitching them together in wild new patterns to keep them safe. Or perhaps dreams are simply the mind's playground, a place where creativity spills over the edge, unconcerned with rules or order. There is something magical about knowing that while your body lies still in the darkness, your mind becomes a realm of light. It is like a deep ocean cave lit by flickers of bioluminescence, sudden sparks that dance and swirl, revealing hidden creatures you would never see in daylight. Dreams remind you that your mind is never empty. Even in your deepest rest, there is a part of you that glows, creating stories and images that only you can visit. When you wake in the morning, these dreams often slip through your fingers like water. Some fade before you even open your eyes. Others stay with you for days, a single scene replaying in your thoughts, carrying a feeling you cannot quite explain. They are gifts from this secret spark, reminders that your inner world is as vast and wild as any ocean. So tonight, when you drift through the stages of sleep and feel the pull of REM waiting for you, know that your mind will find its spark again. Let your eyes flicker beneath closed lids. Let your breath follow the rhythm of your secret dreams. Trust that your sleeping mind will light up the darkness with stories all your own, shimmering like tiny glowing creatures deep beneath the waves, the spark of your imagination at play while the rest of the world sleeps on. Chapter 10: The Surreal Ocean. Dreams take shape. Each night as you drift into the depths of REM sleep, your mind does something extraordinary. It creates entire worlds out of shadows and light, feelings and memories, fragments of words and images that swirl together like a living painting. Dreams are the mind's surreal ocean, a boundless realm where thoughts float like drifting jellyfish and ideas move in glowing schools of fish, forming shapes that defy all logic yet feel so real in the moment. When you dream, your brain is both the artist and the ocean itself. You do not sit down and plan your dreams the way you might plan your day. They unfold from hidden currents deep within you, pulled together by memories, fears, hopes, and stray pieces of your imagination that you did not even know were waiting to be seen. A single dream can change its shape in an instant. One moment you stand in your childhood bedroom, and the next you are walking through a city made of glass bridges and floating staircases. There is no door you must open, no rule you must follow. The dreamscape shifts the moment your mind decides it must. Scientists say that during REM sleep, the parts of your brain that handle memory and emotion are wide awake. This is why dreams feel so vivid, so charged with meaning. The logical parts of your brain that keep you grounded in reality during the day grow quiet. Without that anchor, your mind is free to build scenes that stretch and bend and twist into impossible shapes. A tree might grow upside down from a cloud. A hallway might stretch for miles and miles without end. A stranger's face might carry the eyes of someone you have loved all your life. Picture your thoughts in this surreal ocean as drifting jellyfish, delicate and luminous, pulsing through the water. Each jellyfish carries a piece of your day, a word you heard, a glance you shared, a worry you tucked away. These drifting thoughts brush against each other and sometimes merge, sending new ideas drifting into the current. They glow brighter as they come closer to the heart of your dream. In this ocean, your worries do not look like they do in daylight. They become symbols, a locked door, a lost suitcase, an endless road that you walk barefoot in the rain. Dreams also hold beauty that makes no sense but feels true in the moment. Imagine schools of glowing fish darting through the dark, turning in perfect patterns that you could never choreograph if you tried. These are your mind's spontaneous moments of wonder. A forgotten face smiles at you. A garden blooms in a place that should be a desert. You fly above a city lit only by stars. These moments do not last, but they stay with you when you wake. Reminders that your inner world holds colors and shapes more vivid than any painting on a wall. Sometimes dreams speak in riddles. They deliver messages in symbols that you may puzzle over for days. Why did you find yourself climbing an endless staircase? Why did you lose your voice when you needed it most? Why did you stand at the edge of an ocean, unable to step in? These questions may not have simple answers. Dreams weave together what you know and what you feel, what you remember and what you wish to forget, into stories that make sense only to the part of you that knows how to float beneath the surface of waking life. In the surreal ocean of dreams, time does not hold its steady shape. You might feel that you have lived through hours in the span of minutes. You may revisit the same place night after night, each time seeing it with new colors, new doorways, new shadows waiting to be explored. Your mind is the deep sea explorer, moving through caves and reefs you cannot reach when you are awake. Every night, you return to these waters to swim with your own drifting thoughts, to watch them glow and fade, to learn things about yourself that words alone could never say. When you wake, these dreams often slip away like fish vanishing into the dark. Sometimes you catch a fragment and hold it for a while, a single image, a feeling that lingers as you pour your morning coffee. You may try to tell someone about it, but the words always feel too small. How do you explain what it felt like to stand in that ocean of your mind, to swim with creatures made of your own memories and secret hopes? So tonight, as you lie down and let your eyes grow heavy, remember the surreal ocean waiting inside you. Trust that your mind knows how to build worlds where anything can happen. Let your drifting thoughts rise like jellyfish, glowing softly in the dark. Let your feelings swim together like schools of fish, turning and shifting with the current. Dreams will come. They always do. And when they do, they will remind you that you are more than what you see in the mirror. You are an ocean of stories waiting to be told each time you close your eyes. Chapter 11: The Brain's Inner Theater. Every night, when you sink into the strange glowing depths of your dreams, you become both the audience and the creator of your own inner theater. It is a theater without a stage, without a script, yet somehow the stories it plays out feel vivid and real enough to make you laugh, cry, run in fear, or wake up with your heart pounding. Scientists have spent decades trying to understand how this private performance takes shape inside the quiet darkness of your skull. What they have found is that when you dream, your brain becomes a vast and intricate theater, with different regions playing their parts in perfect harmony to weave the stories that play behind your closed eyes. Imagine the outer layer of your brain, the cortex, as the flickering screen where the scenes of your dreams come to life. During deep sleep, this part of your brain is calm and quiet, resting along with the rest of you. But when you drift into REM sleep, the cortex lights up again, almost as active as it is when you are fully awake. Patterns of electrical activity spark through its folds like lights on a stage coming to life before the curtain rises. This reawakened cortex is why dreams can feel so detailed. You see faces, colors, and places that look as vivid as anything you see when you are awake. You hear voices, feel the wind, taste something sweet, all crafted by your brain's careful illusion. Yet something important is missing. The part of your brain that does so much work to keep your stories grounded during the day takes a step back. This is the prefrontal cortex, the region just behind your forehead that is in charge of logic, decision making, and self control. In waking life, your prefrontal cortex is like the director of your mind's stage crew. It keeps your thoughts in order, asks the right questions, and cuts the scenes that do not make sense. But in REM sleep, this director relaxes. It sits quietly in the dark while the rest of your brain plays without rules. This is why your dreams feel so free to break boundaries. It is why you can run through a city made of glass one moment and find yourself standing in your childhood backyard the next, talking to a loved one who has been gone for years. As the prefrontal cortex takes a break, other parts of your brain grow more active. The limbic system, which handles your deepest emotions, steps into the spotlight. The amygdala, the tiny almond-shaped center for fear and excitement, flares to life. The hippocampus, keeper of memories, cracks open its doors. These emotional and memory centers send waves of feeling through the cortex, like currents stirring the waters of your inner ocean. This is why your dreams are so charged with feeling. Even when the plot twists make no sense, they carry a weight that can stay with you for hours after you wake up. The different parts of this inner theater do not follow a script. Instead, they pull from whatever material is at hand, a passing worry, an old memory, a piece of music you heard, an unsaid thought that slipped into the shadows of your day. Like improvisational actors, these parts weave together symbols and fragments, sometimes playing them out as gentle stories, sometimes as wild and surreal adventures. Your cortex colors in the scenery, the limbic system adds the emotional thunder, and without the logical director of the prefrontal cortex to stop them, the plot lines wander like deep-sea currents. One scene might melt into another with no clear reason why, yet in the dream it feels perfectly natural. Think of how strange it is that while you sleep, your brain can pull you into a memory of a place you have not seen in years and mix it with faces that do not belong there. A hallway from your old school might lead into a bright meadow. A person you just met could suddenly take on the voice of your best friend. These shifts feel so real because your sensory regions are so alive. The visual cortex paints each frame in bright detail. The auditory cortex lets you hear conversations that were never spoken. The sensory cortex lets you feel a soft blanket, a rush of wind, or the splash of rain on your skin, all while you lie perfectly still in your bed. And while this happens, your body is cleverly protected. Your brainstem sends signals that keep your muscles from moving. It is as if the doors to your theater are locked to keep you from running out into the night, acting out the scenes you see inside. Only your eyes betray the flicker of your private performance, darting beneath your eyelids like tiny spotlights searching the stage. When you wake, the curtain falls. The lights in your cortex settle back into daylight patterns. The prefrontal cortex takes charge again, trying to make sense of what you just saw. But dreams rarely fit neatly into waking logic. They leave you with pieces, a feeling, an image that drifts with you through the morning. You may try to tell someone your dream, but your words feel too small. How do you explain what it felt like to swim through the bright underwater theater of your own mind, to stand on that surreal stage where you are the actor, the director, and the only one watching? Tonight, When your eyes close, remember that this theater is waiting for you. Let your mind light up its stage. Let the stories wander where they wish. Let your thoughts drift like currents. Somewhere inside you, the inner theater flickers to life, ready to remind you that your imagination is always deeper, wilder, and freer than you ever knew. Chapter 12: Why We Dream. The Emotional Tides. Each night, when you close your eyes and drift beyond the surface of wakefulness, something ancient and deeply human stirs within you. You slip into a world that breaks the boundaries of logic and lets you wander through forests of memories, oceans of feelings, and landscapes made only of thoughts. For centuries, people have wondered why we dream. Why do our minds create these vivid stories, some filled with joy and wonder, others haunted by shadows we try to forget? Modern science does not yet hold all the answers, but it offers us glimpses into the deeper currents that shape this nightly voyage. One idea that many sleep researchers hold close is that dreams are the brain's way of processing our emotions. Imagine all the feelings you carry through the day. Some come and go like passing rain. Others stick to you like salt on your skin after a swim in the sea. When you sleep, your mind does not simply turn off these feelings. Instead, it pulls them into the currents of your dreams and lets them flow where they need to go. Think of your emotions as warm and cool waters swirling through a vast ocean. Just as ocean currents carry warmth to colder regions and move nutrients to places that would otherwise starve, your dreams may help redistribute the heat of your feelings. Maybe you go to bed burdened with anger you could not speak aloud, or sadness you hid from everyone else, or anxiety that clung to you like a heavy coat. In dreams, these hidden tides find space to move. You may dream of arguing with a stranger or running from a storm. You might dream of a lost friend whose face still carries comfort. You might feel fear or love or hope in ways that surprise you. It is not always a perfect solution, but it is a way for your inner ocean to stay balanced. Some scientists believe that dreaming does more than soothe raw feelings. They see it as a way for your brain to organize and strengthen memories. Imagine your mind as a vast coral reef full of moments collected through every day, sights, sounds, lessons, faces. If every new memory stayed sharp and separate, your mind would overflow with fragments too small to use. During REM sleep, the currents of your dreams may help decide which pieces to keep and which to let go. The emotional tides wash over your memories, weaving them together in patterns that make sense for tomorrow. This is why dreams often pull together bits and pieces that seem unrelated. A conversation from years ago, a worry about tomorrow, an old house you have not thought about in ages. Your dreaming mind is not random. It is weaving connections in ways your waking mind could never plan. Other researchers see dreams as an ancient way of rehearsing survival. Long before we could write our fears in books or share our secrets with trusted friends, our ancestors lay under the stars, closed their eyes, and faced the wild in their dreams. A threatening face, a chase through the dark, a danger that must be outwitted. These vivid scenes may have helped prepare the mind to handle real dangers while awake. In this way, dreams become like deep ocean currents that stir up hidden truths, giving you a safe place to feel fear and hope and courage, so you can face the world stronger than before. There is also something deeply healing about the simple act of drifting into a dream. You may not always remember your dreams. Some slip away before you open your eyes, like fish darting into deep water. But even so, the emotional work they do remains. Studies show that people who do not get enough REM sleep can become more easily overwhelmed by stress. Without the balancing flow of dreams, our minds hold on to heat that needs to move. Just as the ocean must carry warm waters to cold shores, to keep the climate steady, your dreams help keep the weather inside you calm enough to face each new day. Tonight, when you lay your head down, think of the emotional tides waiting to carry you. Know that your mind is not wasting time as it spins its wild stories behind closed eyelids. It is doing what the ocean has done for eons, moving warmth where it is needed, stirring the hidden places, making sure that when you wake, you are a little lighter, a little freer, a little more ready to swim through the waves of life. Let yourself drift. Let your feelings ride the gentle currents of sleep. Trust that while you dream, your inner ocean is working to heal, to balance, and to make you whole again. Chapter 13, Lucid Dreaming. Awareness rises to the surface. Somewhere in the middle of the night, when your mind is adrift in its secret ocean of dreams, there can come a moment so clear and astonishing that it feels like magic. It is the moment you realize you are dreaming. You become both the dreamer and the one who knows they are dreaming. This rare and remarkable experience is called lucid dreaming. For centuries, poets, mystics, and ordinary people alike have described this sudden burst of awareness as one of the most vivid gifts the sleeping mind can offer. Imagine you are a sailor alone on a vast sea beneath a wide moonlit sky. For most of the night, you drift wherever the current carries you. Waves of dream pull you from place to place. A street becomes a forest, a friend becomes a stranger, a memory becomes a castle in the clouds. You move through these shifting scenes without questioning how you got there or where you are going. But then, like the moon breaking free from a passing cloud, you have a spark of recognition. You look around at the waves and the night sky, and you say to yourself, "This is a dream. I am dreaming." In that instant, you are no longer just a passenger on the waters of sleep. You become the sailor gripping the ropes of your small boat. You feel the tug of the current, but you know you can steer your course. You can watch the stars above and feel the breeze on your face. Yet you understand that the stars and the breeze belong to a world your mind has created. You stand in two realms at once, fully inside the dream, yet fully aware that the waking world lies somewhere beyond the horizon. For some people, this moment lasts only a few heartbeats. It flickers like a candle flame, bright with possibility, but easily blown out by excitement or fear. For others, with practice or luck, the flame grows steady enough to light up an entire adventure. In a lucid dream, you may find yourself walking through a city made of glass, and instead of being carried along by its shifting streets, you pause and think, what if I could fly instead? And so you lift off the ground, soaring over rooftops and rivers, because you know, without doubt, that the laws of gravity no longer bind you. The brain regions that handle self-awareness stir back to life during lucid dreaming, waking up parts of the prefrontal cortex that usually sleep while you dream. It is as if the sailor inside you stands taller on the deck, scanning the sea with clear eyes. You begin to notice details in your dream that might otherwise slip by. The texture of the ground beneath your feet, the warmth of the sun on your dream skin, the sound of your own voice echoing through a forest that never existed before you dreamed it. Lucid dreaming does not always mean total control. Sometimes you can shape the dream's current with a gentle hand on the tiller, but other times the ocean beneath you has a will of its own. You may tell yourself, "Tonight I will meet someone I miss," or "I will find the answer to a question I carry." And sometimes, just sometimes, the dream will obey. But there are nights when the waves push back, reshaping your story in ways you could never plan. In this, lucid dreaming reminds you that your mind's ocean is deeper than you can ever know, full of mysteries that remain, even when your awareness floats to the surface. People who practice lucid dreaming often speak of its beauty beyond the thrill of flying or changing the scenery at will. It can be a place to face fears safely, to ask your inner self questions, to heal old wounds in the presence of symbols and memories given shape by the dream. Some see it as a meeting point between the conscious mind and the hidden symbolic realms we often ignore in our waking hours. The sailor, once passive, becomes an explorer charting new maps inside the same seas they have drifted through their whole life. And yet, just like the moonlit ocean, this state is delicate. Push too hard and you wake up. Doubt your awareness for a second, and the dream pulls you back under its waves. It is a balancing act, being aware enough to steer, yet gentle enough not to sink the boat with your own heavy hands. Tonight, if you find yourself drifting on this ocean and you feel that spark of knowing, do not panic. Take a breath and steady the ropes. Be the sailor standing under a silver sky, guiding your boat through waters that shimmer with your mind's deepest stories. Let your awareness rise and stay afloat. Let yourself play in this dreamscape with wonder and respect, knowing you are not just drifting, but sailing, not just asleep, but awake within the dream. And when the dawn comes, let that sense of freedom remind you that your inner ocean is always there, waiting to be explored again when the stars return. Chapter 14: Navigating Inner Seas. Techniques for Lucid Dreaming. Learning to lucid dream is a bit like learning to sail across an ocean that exists only inside you. For most of us, dreams come and go each night like unpredictable tides. We drift through them, carried by currents we cannot see, and wake with only fragments left in our hands. But what if you could plant markers on this shifting sea? Buoys that help you find your bearings when your awareness drifts close to the surface. What if you could teach yourself to notice when the dream has begun and gently guide it without waking too soon? This is what people who practice lucid dreaming try to do. They learn to navigate the vast inner seas of their own minds with tools that keep them steady when the waves of sleep grow deep and wild. The first tool many dreamers use is simple yet powerful: the dream journal. Think of a dream journal as your map of these inner waters. Each morning, when you wake up, you reach for your notebook and write down whatever pieces of the night you can remember. A face that did not belong where you saw it. A place that felt real but could never exist. A feeling that clung to you like salt on your skin. At first, the words may feel scattered and vague, like the lines of a coastline you were trying to draw in the dark. But over time, the more you write, the clearer the patterns become. Keeping a dream journal trains your mind to pay attention to dreams. It plants the first buoys in your ocean, tiny markers that remind you these places matter. As days and weeks pass, you may notice familiar symbols that appear again and again. Doors that never open, staircases that lead nowhere, the sensation of flying or falling. These repeating elements are like bright buoys bobbing on the surface of your inner sea. When you see them in a dream, you have a better chance of realizing, I have been here before, I must be dreaming. Another technique is the practice of reality checks. During the day, when you are fully awake, you pause now and then to ask yourself, am I dreaming? It sounds simple, even silly, but this question can become an anchor for your mind. Some people look at their hands, counting fingers to see if anything looks strange. Others read a line of text twice. If the words change the second time, they know they are dreaming. Some pinch their noses shut and try to breathe through them, an action that never works in waking life, but flows easily in a dream. These small reality checks are like planting more buoys across your ocean. By practicing during the day, you train your mind to remember this habit at night. When your awareness drifts close to the surface of a dream and you see something odd, a purple sky, a door where no door should be, Your mind might remember to ask, could this be a dream? And just like that, you find yourself awake within your own story, the sailor gripping the ropes instead of drifting without a course. Many people also use a technique called the mild method, mnemonic induction of lucid dreams. Before falling asleep, you repeat a simple phrase to yourself, like, "Tonight, I will know I am dreaming." This small intention is like dropping a message in a bottle into your ocean before you drift off. Sometimes the tide of sleep will carry it back to you in the middle of the night, and you will find that spark of awareness waiting when you need it most. Some dreamers wake themselves in the middle of the night to catch a dream's edge. This is known as the WBT technique, wake back to bed. You wake after a few hours of sleep, stay awake long enough for your mind to brighten a little, then lie back down. The next time you slip into REM sleep, your mind is more alert, more likely to realize it is dreaming. This too is another buoy you plant, another signal that guides you through the shifting currents. No two dreamers chart the same course. What works for one may not work for another. Some find that too much effort can make the ocean rougher, stirring them awake before they can steer their dreams. Others learn to let go, trusting that with gentle practice, the path will grow clearer over time. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all. Learning to lucid dream is not about control for the sake of control. It is about curiosity. It is about sailing into the hidden places of your mind with respect and wonder. It is about planting enough buoys so that when you find yourself drifting in the moonlit waters of your own imagination, you have something to hold on to, a gentle reminder that you are both the sailor and the sea. And when the dawn comes, you will rise from your inner ocean carrying stories that glow like lanterns, lighting your waking life with the deep knowing that your dreams are yours to explore again and again. Chapter 15: When Dreams Feel More Real Than Life. Some nights you slip into sleep and drift through fleeting images that vanish like footprints on the shore. You wake up with only a faint memory, the echo of a voice, the shape of a hallway that never existed, the feeling of something unfinished. But then there are other nights when dreams rise from the depths with such vivid color and detail that they feel more real than your waking hours. These are the dreams that cling to you long after morning comes, staying bright in your mind like coral reefs hidden beneath the waves, waiting for you to visit them again and again. Think of the ocean and the reefs that live within it. Some reefs are so vast and full of life that divers return to them year after year, knowing that no matter how many times they swim those waters, they will always find something new, a burst of color, a school of fish that was not there before, a hidden crevice they had overlooked. Vivid and recurring dreams feel much the same. They are places inside you that you revisit, scenes that shimmer with a strange clarity no matter how many years pass. Everyone who dreams has stories of these visits. Perhaps you have one too. A house you have never seen in waking life, but somehow know every hallway and staircase as if you had grown up there. A forest whose leaves glow under a silver moon. A city where the streets twist and turn, but always lead you back to the same familiar square. Maybe it is a person, someone whose face you have never seen in your daily world, but who greets you night after night with a smile, or a word that feels like a secret meant only for you. Why do some dreams anchor themselves so deeply in our minds? Scientists believe that these vivid dreams often live at the crossroads of emotion and memory. The more powerful the feeling inside the dream, wonder, fear, love, longing, the more brightly it is etched into your mind's map. During REM sleep, your brain's emotional centers are wide awake, weaving these feelings into stories that feel more alive than the steady flow of your ordinary days. And because your logical mind is resting, These stories are free to grow into places that can never be built with bricks and wood or found on any map. Recurring dreams can be comforting, like slipping beneath familiar waters where you know every curve of coral, every hidden cove. Some people carry these dreams with them from childhood to old age. The dream might change slightly each time you visit. A door you could never open swings wide at last. A face that was blurred grows clear. A path that once led you in circles now takes you somewhere new. Each return feels like meeting an old friend who has grown a little older, a little wiser, alongside you. But not all vivid dreams are gentle. Some come like storms over your reef, nightmares that feel too real, scenes that jolt you awake with your heart pounding, recurring dreams of being chased or falling or standing alone in a crowd can stay with you for years. Even these dreams serve a purpose, though it is not always clear in the moment. They might be the mind's way of urging you to look deeper, to dive into the currents of a fear or memory you have tried to keep locked away. Like rough waters stirring up hidden sand, they show you parts of yourself that daylight tries to bury. Many people find that these vivid dreams come when they are on the edge of change. Times of grief, joy, new beginnings, or endings can stir the inner ocean in ways that bring forgotten reefs into view. They remind you that there are places within you that do not fade just because you turn away from them when you wake. These inner worlds are alive, waiting for you to notice them, to understand what they hold. Sometimes you may try to explain one of these dreams to someone you trust. You search for words big enough to contain the colors, the feelings, the quiet truth that lives inside that dreamscape, but the words always feel too small. How can you describe what it feels like to stand on a cliff you have never climbed in real life, but know by heart in your sleep, or to hold the hand of someone you have never met, but who feels like family, the moment you see their face in the dream? Perhaps that is the beauty of dreams that feel more real than life. They are reminders that you hold entire worlds inside you, vast reefs of memory and emotion built over nights and years, lit by feelings that guide you through the currents of your mind. You are the diver, the explorer, the storyteller, and each time you return to these places beneath the waves, you find another piece of yourself, waiting in the coral, waiting in the shimmering schools of thoughts that drift past you, like a promise that some truths live deeper than words will ever reach. Tonight, if you find yourself sinking into one of these vivid dreamscapes, stay for a while, notice the colors, feel the weight of the water holding you, trust that these dreams are part of you, as real as any road you walk when the sun is up. And when you wake, carry a piece of that reef with you, a reminder that your inner sea is wide and alive, always ready to be explored again. Chapter 16: Sleepwalking and Other Strange Currents. While most of us drift into the depths of sleep and stay anchored there until morning, some people find themselves caught in strange currents that carry them back toward the waking world, but never quite let them arrive. These strange movements of the sleeping mind and body are called parasomnias. They are reminders that sleep is not always a smooth passage. Sometimes the boundaries between wakefulness and sleep grow thin, and people find themselves drifting back and forth across that fragile line, like a boat slipping its moorings in the night. Sleepwalking is perhaps the most well-known of these strange currents. It usually happens during deep, non-REM sleep, often in the first half of the night, when the slow waves are at their deepest. A person might sit up in bed with eyes wide open, but unfocused. They may swing their legs to the floor and stand. To an observer, they look awake, but inside their mind is still adrift far below the surface. They might walk through a hallway they do not remember when the sun comes up. Some people perform simple tasks, rearranging objects, opening doors, even eating. Others wander out into the night as if the walls of the house could not hold them. No one knows exactly why sleepwalking happens, but many believe it is the result of the brain being caught halfway between two states. One part of the brain remains in deep sleep, while the pathways that control movement flicker awake. The prefrontal cortex, that wise keeper of reason and awareness, stays mostly asleep. This is why a sleepwalker seems purposeful, yet unreachable. They move through the house like a ghost from another world, their mind sailing through the depths while their body drifts on the surface. Sleep talking is another strange current that shows how the mind and body can split their duties during sleep. In the quiet dark of a bedroom, someone might mumble words or shout whole sentences that make perfect sense or none at all. These words slip out of the dream world and into the air, carried by the same drifting awareness that does not quite belong to either realm. It is as if the tide of sleep pulls up thoughts from deep below and spills them across the shore where the waking world waits. For some, these currents can turn turbulent. Night terrors are among the most unsettling of all parasomnias. Unlike nightmares that unfold during REM sleep with vivid dream imagery, night terrors strike during deep non-REM sleep when the mind should be still and restful. A person might suddenly sit bolt upright, eyes wide, heart pounding, breath ragged. They may cry out in fear, push away an unseen threat, or run from a danger only they can feel. If you try to soothe them, you find they do not recognize your voice. They are caught in a storm inside themselves, adrift between the safety of sleep and the hard edges of wakefulness. Children are more prone to these strange tides. Their developing brains swim in deeper sleep more often, and their boundaries between stages are softer, more easily crossed by stray currents. For most children, sleepwalking and night terrors fade with age as the shores of sleep and waking life grow more defined. But for some adults, these drifting states remain lifelong companions, a reminder that no matter how much we learn about sleep, some parts of the ocean remain unexplored. What is it like to be the sleeper in these moments? Many who sleepwalk or talk at night have no memory of it. They wake with bruises or misplaced objects as clues that they were somewhere else while they should have been still. It is a peculiar thing to know that your body can move without your permission, guided by a mind that hides just below the waves. It makes you wonder how thin the line between your conscious self and your sleeping depths truly is. Some cultures have long believed that sleepwalking and other parasomnias are visits from the spirit world. In ancient stories, these moments were seen as signs that the soul was traveling, that a person's essence could slip free and roam while the body remained behind. Science explains much of this now with brain waves and neural pathways, but there is something haunting about these old stories. The thought that we are never entirely here or there, but sometimes drifting on the edge of both. If you ever find yourself standing at the window in the middle of the night with no memory of how you got there, remember that you are not broken. You are simply caught in one of sleep's strange currents. You are the sailor who woke up and forgot you were still at sea. The house around you is your boat, the night your endless ocean, and when morning comes, you return to yourself. The tide carries you home, and your feet find the solid ground once more. Chapter 17, The Default Mode Network at Rest. When you close your eyes at night and drift towards sleep, your body grows heavy and your breath settles into its gentle rhythm. On the surface, it may seem like everything inside you goes quiet, but hidden beneath the calm waters of your sleeping mind, a subtle current flows on. This is your brain's background hum, the so-called default mode network, always at work even when you are resting. Scientists once believed that when we do nothing at all, our brain switches off like a light. But the more they have peered into the depths of the human mind, the more they have discovered that this quiet state is alive with unseen motion, deep ocean currents that move silently under the surface. The default mode network, or DMN for short, is not a single part of your brain. It is more like a constellation of regions that talk to each other in the background. These regions include the medial prefrontal cortex, the posterior cingulate cortex, and the angular gyrus, among others. They create a loop of gentle activity that hums along when you are daydreaming, lost in thought, remembering the past, or imagining the future. It is the mental tide that drifts in when you are not focused on the outside world, but wandering your inner landscape instead. During the day, the DMN is like a steady current beneath the waves of your busy mind. You could be sitting on a bus, staring out the window, your mind miles away from the traffic and chatter around you, or you could be lying on the grass, feeling the sun on your skin while your thoughts drift to a memory from years ago. This hum beneath your thoughts weaves together your sense of self, connecting your past, present, and the endless possibilities of what might come. But what happens to this current when you slip into sleep? As you drift through the stages of sleep, your brain's networks shift their patterns like the ocean changing its tides. During the deep waves of non-REM sleep, the DMN's hum softens, the currents slow. Those parts of your brain that replay your day and weave your sense of self grow quiet, allowing other systems to take the lead. Your mind is no longer busy scripting your future or replaying yesterday's conversations. Instead, it sinks into a restorative silence where memories are sorted and the day's debris is swept away. Yet this is not a complete blackout. Even in the slow depths of deep sleep, some gentle flow continues. It is thought that this quiet background hum helps your brain keep its inner maps in order. Like deep ocean currents that carry warmth from one part of the sea to another, the DMN at rest may help distribute energy and information where it is needed. It allows your mind to drift but not become lost. It is the tide that keeps your inner sea from growing stagnant. When you rise back toward REM sleep, the currents stir again. The DMN flickers back to life. Your mind's eye opens. The familiar hum returns, blending with bursts of activity from the visual and emotional centers of your brain. This is why dreams often feel so deeply personal. They borrow the same pathways that hold your waking memories and sense of identity. You become the dreamer and the dream, drifting through stories that stitch together your past fears, your secret wishes, and your unspoken thoughts. The DMN becomes the deep current that guides these images, holding your sense of self steady even as you fly or fall or speak with someone who is no longer in your waking life. Some scientists believe this background activity is one reason why sleep is so vital to mental health. When the DMN functions well, it helps you reflect, heal, and grow. When its currents are blocked or too chaotic, you may find yourself stuck in ruminations that never lead to peace. Sleep gives the DMN a chance to reset, smoothing out the turbulence so you wake feeling whole again. Picture your mind tonight as an endless sea. On the surface, your thoughts drift like small boats, sometimes bouncing in the waves of daily worries, sometimes gliding smooth and free. But beneath that surface, the default mode network flows like a hidden ocean current, steady and unseen. In sleep, this current slows, then shifts, then rises again with your dreams. It carries memories, feelings, and fragments of your identity, like bits of coral drifting through clear blue depths. So when you close your eyes tonight, trust that the deep ocean inside you knows exactly where to send these quiet tides. Trust that while you rest, the hum continues its work, smoothing rough edges and keeping your inner seas in motion. You do not need to steer it. You only need to surrender to the water and let it carry you, knowing that when you wake, the current will rise with you, ready to help you navigate the bright waves of the day once more. Chapter 18, Dreams Across Cultures, Myths of the Soul's Journey. Long before we had brain scans and scientific theories about sleep cycles, humans lay beneath open skies and wondered where their spirits went when their eyes closed and their bodies grew still. Across continents and centuries, cultures have woven rich tapestries of myths and stories to explain what happens in the mysterious hours when we dream. To them, dreams were never just fleeting flickers of the mind, but proof that a deeper part of us could wander beyond the walls of our homes and the limits of our waking flesh. These stories remind us that for as long as we have been human, we have felt that sleep is not just rest, but a journey for the soul. In ancient Egypt, this idea took the shape of the ba bird. To the Egyptians, a person was not just a body, but a complex being made of many parts, and the ba was the part that carried your unique personality, your breath of life, your essence. They imagined the ba as a human-headed bird with wings that could fly away while you slept. Each night, the ba bird would lift itself from the body and soar through the realms of dreams, visiting the living and the dead, moving between the world of sunlight and the shadowy halls of the underworld. At dawn, the ba would return and reunite with the sleeper, restoring their life force for another day. To this day, tomb paintings show the ba bird hovering above sleeping or dead figures, a symbol of the soul's freedom to wander and return. Far from the Nile, the Aboriginal people of Australia have held one of the oldest and most beautiful understandings of the dream world. For them, dream time is not just a series of nighttime visions, but the sacred space where creation itself began and continues to unfold. According to many Aboriginal traditions, the dream time is an eternal dimension where the ancestors walked, sang the land into being, and shaped every river, rock, and mountain with their actions. When people sleep, they touch this timeless realm. In dreams, they can revisit the paths of the ancestors, receive guidance, and remember who they are in relation to the land. To dream is to be woven into the fabric of creation itself, to keep the stories alive with each sleeping breath. In Native American cultures, dreams have long been seen as visions, messages from the spirit world that can guide the living. Many tribes believe that while the body lies still, the soul slips free to roam. The Lakota speak of dreams as places where people can meet spirit guides, receive warnings, or find healing for the tribe. Dreams can be powerful medicine. Young people on vision quests often seek guidance through dreams, sleeping under the open sky or in sacred places to open themselves to whatever wisdom the spirits choose to send. Dream catchers, with their woven webs and hanging feathers, are rooted in this belief, protective talismans meant to filter out nightmares and let good visions flow down like drops of dew upon the sleeper. Other traditions echo this idea in different forms. In parts of Asia, some ancient cultures believed that the soul's nightly journey could be dangerous, that evil spirits might try to lure it away or trap it so that the dreamer would not wake. Stories tell of threads connecting the sleeper to their wandering soul, delicate cords that must remain unbroken. In medieval Europe, people spoke of night hags or witches riding the dreamer, pressing down on the chest, stealing the breath. These were dark twists on the idea that something vital within us slips away each night. Yet even when the stories speak of fear or caution, they carry the same thread of wonder, that dreams are not empty shadows, but secret journeys, glimpses of worlds that lie just beyond the edge of daylight. They are reminders that human beings have always felt there is more to our existence than what we see when our eyes are open. Modern science tells us about brainwaves and REM sleep, neurotransmitters, and memory consolidation. These explanations are true and useful, but the old stories remind us of something science alone cannot measure: the deep human longing to believe that some bright spark within us is free to fly while we rest. We are more than neurons firing in the dark. We are dreamers who have imagined ourselves as birds, as spirits, as travelers through the hidden forests of the night. Tonight, when you lie down and feel yourself drifting, think of the babird lifting its wings. Picture the dream time stretching out before you, a land of endless creation and memory. Imagine your soul slipping its tether for a while, gliding along ancient paths where the ancestors once walked. Know that you are part of a long, unbroken story, one that says we are not chained to our beds while we sleep, but carried gently on unseen currents, returning each dawn with secret gifts from worlds that only our dreaming minds can touch. Chapter 19: Nightmares, Storms on the Dream Sea. Most nights, our dreams drift gently like small boats floating on a calm ocean. We sail through memories, odd visions, and fleeting thoughts that rise and fade with the rhythm of our sleeping mind. But sometimes the waters turn dark, the sky cracks open with thunder, fear surges up like a sudden wave, and we find ourselves in the middle of a nightmare, a storm on the dream sea that can feel so real it wakes us up breathless in the dark. Why do nightmares come? Scientists and storytellers alike have asked this question for centuries. Some say nightmares are just random jolts in the brain, sparks flying wild through the pathways that shape our dreams. But deeper research suggests that nightmares have more purpose than mere chaos. They are storms stirred up by the winds of our deepest fears, hidden worries, and emotions we have not faced fully in the daylight. Think of the mind as an ocean. Every day we throw small stones of stress, frustration, and fear into its depths. Most of the time, these stones sink out of sight, but they do not disappear. Instead, they settle on the seabed of our unconscious mind, waiting for a strong current to stir them up. Nightmares can be those currents, sudden surges that churn the hidden layers of our thoughts and push old fears to the surface where we must see them again. For children, nightmares often appear as monsters under the bed, shadows in the closet, or endless chases through dark forests. These images come from the simple yet powerful fears that naturally live in young minds. Children are still learning the difference between what is imagined and what is real. Their dream sea is wide open, with few barriers to keep the waves of fear from rising high. It is their mind's way of practicing bravery, facing the big, shapeless fears in a place where no harm can truly reach them. For adults, nightmares take on new shapes. They can be rooted in old traumas, painful memories, or daily anxieties that feel too big to handle when awake. Stress from work, a troubled relationship, grief that has not yet found words, these can all become the thunderclouds that gather over our sleeping mind. Sometimes we dream of falling endlessly, of losing someone we love, of being trapped with no escape. These dreams feel like storms because they force us to feel what we try to avoid during the day. But why does the mind bring us these storms at all? Some researchers believe that nightmares are our brain's way of helping us process and survive emotional pain. When we dream, especially during REM sleep, the brain replays fragments of our day and mixes them with deeper memories and feelings. A nightmare might be the mind's way of testing how we respond to fear, reminding us that we can survive it. Just like a ship caught in a sudden storm, we learn to hold steady, to ride the waves until the wind calms and the sky clears again. For some, nightmares become more than just occasional storms. Night terrors or chronic nightmares can feel like relentless hurricanes, disrupting rest and spilling over into waking life. In these cases, the dream sea is asking for attention, telling us that the storms will keep coming until we find a safe harbor, a way to address the wounds beneath the waves. Therapy, talking with trusted friends, or simply writing the nightmares down in a journal can help bring the storm's secrets into the light. Yet even the fiercest nightmare does not last forever. The wind dies down, the lightning fades, you wake up in your bed, heart pounding but safe under the covers. It helps to remember that your mind, like the sea, knows how to return to calm. The next time you feel yourself caught in a nightmare's grip, remind yourself that you are not truly trapped. You are sailing through an inner storm that will pass, leaving behind clearer waters and sometimes even hidden treasures. Many cultures have long understood this truth. They have used dream catchers, protective charms, prayers, and rituals to remind sleepers that nightmares do not own the night. These traditions speak to a deep human faith that even the worst dreams are part of a greater journey. They do not define us, they do not sink us, they come, they roar, and they move on. Tonight, if you find yourself drifting into dark waves, hold fast. Remind yourself that storms cannot last forever. Breathe slowly when you wake, and if you remember the dream, write it down like a sailor recording a storm in the logbook, then let it go. Trust that your inner sea will find its calm again. Just as morning light always returns, so does the gentle surface of your mind, waiting to carry you forward on quieter, kinder tides. Chapter 20. Memory Nets and Dream Debris. Every night when you drift away from the world of noise and light, your mind slips into a space where yesterday's clutter gets sorted, reshaped, and sometimes released. While your eyes are closed and your breath grows slow and deep, your brain becomes like a quiet fisherman casting a wide net into the deep waters of your memory. It works tirelessly to catch what is worth keeping and lets the rest drift away into the dark currents beyond your conscious reach. This invisible work is one of the greatest gifts of sleep, the gift of tending to the memories you gather with every waking hour. Think of how much you absorb in a single day. You see faces on a crowded street. You hear music drifting from a passing car. You read lines from an article you will not remember in the morning. You taste your dinner and feel the rough texture of your coat against your skin. You listen to words spoken by friends or strangers, each carrying weight or fading quickly into the background. All of this settles in your mind like sediment on the ocean floor, pieces large and small, important and trivial, layered one on top of the other until your mind needs to make sense of what to hold on to and what to release. When you fall asleep, your brain does not shut off. It shifts gears. Scientists who study sleep have found that during the deepest stages of sleep, and again in REM, the brain becomes a bustling harbor of activity. Neurons fire in patterns that replay fragments of the day. It is as if your mind casts its memory net wide into the sea of your experiences, hauling in images, feelings, and bits of information that need to be examined before they can stay. Some memories are too heavy to keep whole, so your brain breaks them apart. It files away the lessons you need, the moments that will help you tomorrow, and lets the rest drift like dream debris out to sea. This is why you can remember the words of a song you practiced all afternoon, but not the chatter of the radio between tracks. It is why you remember the warmth of your grandmother's hug, but not every detail of the path you walked to her door. This net does more than keep what is useful. It stitches connections that did not exist before. During dreams, especially in the vivid landscapes of REM sleep, the brain plays with ideas and emotions, tying them together in ways your waking mind could never plan. This is why you wake up with sudden insights or creative solutions that felt impossible the day before. A painter may find colors merging in ways they never imagined. A writer may wake with a sentence that feels like a key turning in a locked door. Your sleeping brain pulls from the tangled net of memories and knots them into something new. But not everything that drifts through the net needs to be kept. There is plenty that floats away each night. Forgotten phone numbers, the taste of the morning coffee, the small worries that felt huge in the daylight but dissolve when you rise again. This letting go is as important as the holding on. Without it, your mind would overflow with useless noise, like a fishing net weighed down with debris. Your memory would become tangled and heavy, unable to hold the moments that truly matter. This process is so delicate that when sleep is broken or shallow, the net grows weak. People who struggle with insomnia or sleep disorders often find their memories scattered, harder to hold in place. Without the deep sweep of the mind's net, yesterday's clutter piles up like driftwood in the harbor. The mind feels foggy and restless. Words slip through the cracks. Faces lose their sharpness. Emotions feel raw because they have not been gently untangled and sorted in the silent hours when dreams do their work. So tonight, as you settle beneath your blankets and feel your breath grow soft and steady, remember the memory net waiting within you. Trust that your mind knows what to keep and what to release. Even if your dreams feel strange or scattered, they are part of this work, gathering, mending, discarding, and weaving. Trust that the dream debris drifting away is not lost, but simply released to make room for new stories, new faces, and new wonders you have yet to find. Sleep is not just an ending, but a hidden act of care. It is the fisherman at the edge of the sea, casting the net into the depths, bringing back what feeds the mind, and letting the rest sink gently into the dark, leaving you lighter, clearer, and ready to rise again with the tide of morning light. Chapter 21, Micro Awakenings, Tiny Breaches in the Deep. When we imagine sleep, we often think of it as a vast, unbroken sea, hours of peaceful drifting from the moment we close our eyes until morning's first light. But the truth is that sleep is never perfectly still. Beneath the calm surface, there are tiny waves and gentle shifts that lift us up and let us sink back down again. These moments are called micro awakenings, small breaches in the deep, where your mind rises just enough to catch a glimpse of the waking world before drifting down into the dark once more. Think of a great whale gliding through the ocean's deepest channels. For long stretches, it moves silently under the water, heart beating slow and steady, eyes half closed to the sunlit world above. But even the whale must breathe. Every so often, it swims upward, breaking through the surface with a rush of air and spray, its back glistening under the moon or stars. Then, with a graceful motion, it slides back down, disappearing beneath the waves until the next breath calls it upward again. Your mind does much the same as you sleep. These tiny breaches are part of your natural rhythm, woven into every sleep cycle, from light sleep to deep slow wave sleep, and the colorful dreamscapes of REM. Most people do not even notice them. You might turn over, adjust your blanket, or open your eyes for a few seconds without remembering it by morning, but these moments play an important role in the hidden architecture of your rest. When you drift into sleep at the start of the night, you pass through gentle stages that carry you deeper. The first stage is light, like dipping your toes into the shallows. The second stage takes you further, your body relaxing, your muscles twitching now and then as you let go of the day. Then come the deeper waves, the slow, steady currents, where your body heals, repairs, and grows strong again. It is here in the deep that you are like the whale, so far from the surface that you seem to disappear from the world. Yet your brain is always watching, always listening. Even in its deepest rest, a small part of your mind stays alert to the world outside. A creak in the hallway, the soft cry of a child, a change in the temperature of the room. These small signals rise through the layers of your sleep and stir you just enough to wake. But this waking is not the same as stepping fully onto the shore of consciousness. You take your breath, check the waters around you, then let yourself slide back down into the deep. Micro awakenings also protect you. When your body needs to shift position or adjust your breathing, these moments help you do it. For someone with sleep apnea, the airway might close, and the brain jolts them awake for just a heartbeat so they can breathe again. For another person, it might be as simple as rolling onto their side to ease a sore muscle, or pulling the blanket closer when a chill slips through the window. In this way, these tiny breaches keep the balance between safety and surrender. For most people, micro-awakenings do not steal rest. They are like the whale's breath, so brief and natural that they become part of what allows you to stay under longer. But when these awakenings grow too frequent or too rough, they can break the rhythm of sleep. A mind that surfaces too often struggles to sink deeply enough to heal and restore itself. This is why stress, pain, or worries that churn under the surface can pull you up again and again, leaving you feeling tired even after a full night in bed. If you have ever wondered why you sometimes wake up feeling as if you barely slept, it may be that your whale never sank far below the waves. It kept breaching, gasping for air, never able to dive into the calm dark it needed most. Knowing this can help you treat your sleep with more care. The calmer your environment, the gentler your mind's currents become, and the fewer reasons it has to rise before it is ready. Tonight, when you lie down and feel yourself drifting, remember the whale in the deep. Let your breath move steady and slow. If you wake for a moment, do not worry or fight it. Trust that this tiny breach is just a natural breath before you sink again. Close your eyes. Feel the gentle pull of sleep guiding you back below the surface, where your thoughts drift soft and your body grows strong again. Like the whale, you will rise when you must, but until then, the ocean of your mind will hold you in its quiet depths, safe in the rhythm of the tide that never truly stops. Chapter 22: Consciousness and Sleep Disorder. Sleep is meant to be a gentle ocean that carries us far from the shores of worry and noise. On most nights, we drift freely into its depths, where dreams bloom like coral and our thoughts slow to a calm and healing rhythm. But for many people, this passage is not so smooth. Sometimes the mind gets caught in the shallows, half awake and half asleep, struggling to find peace in waters that should feel safe. Sleep disorders like insomnia and sleep paralysis remind us just how delicate the boundary between wakefulness and rest can be. Take insomnia, for example. It is more than just a restless night here and there. It is the mind's stubborn refusal to let go, even when the body longs for stillness. People who live with insomnia often describe it as lying in bed while their thoughts march on like a restless tide. The clock ticks on the nightstand, shadows shift on the walls, the body aches for sleep, but the mind drifts from memory to worry, from old regrets to tomorrow's to-do list. It is as if they are floating on the surface of the ocean, but cannot find the current that will carry them down into the deep. Scientists have learned that insomnia can happen when the brain's natural rhythms are disrupted. Stress, anxiety, and even our daily habits can keep the mind alert long after the day has ended. The default mode network, that background hum that helps us reflect and daydream, can grow too loud at night, replaying the day on repeat instead of letting it sink away like dream debris. The result is a mind that wants to stay awake when the soul needs to drift. If you know this struggle, be gentle with yourself. Fighting insomnia only tightens its grip. The more you worry about sleep, the more elusive it becomes. Instead, think of your mind as a restless swimmer. Rather than forcing yourself to sink, give yourself permission to float for a while. A warm cup of tea, the soft pages of a book, or a calming prayer can help quiet the noise. If sleep does not come quickly, remind yourself that your bed is still a safe harbor. Even rest without sleep has its own kind of healing power. The ocean always returns for you. You will drift when your mind is ready. Sleep paralysis is another strange shore where consciousness can get stuck. Anyone who has felt it knows the unsettling feeling of waking up to find that your body will not move. You may feel like your eyes are open while a heavy weight presses you into the bed. Some people see shadows at the edge of the room or hear whispers that vanish when they fully wake. It is no wonder that for centuries people have told ghost stories about these moments. The mind is awake enough to know the body should move, but the body is still caught in the dream's tide. The science behind sleep paralysis is simple but fascinating. It often happens during transitions in and out of REM sleep. During REM, the brain protects you by relaxing your muscles so you do not act out your dreams. But sometimes your mind wakes before your body does. It is like rising to the surface while your boat remains anchored to the sea floor. You feel the tension of both worlds pressing against you. If you have felt this, know that you are not alone and that you are safe. Sleep paralysis passes like a wave that lifts you then lets you go. One comforting thought is to remind yourself in the moment that this is only your body's way of protecting you from harm. Focus on breathing. Try to move your fingers or toes, small anchors that help your mind call your body back to shore. Keep a soft light nearby if the shadows trouble you. The more you understand these moments, the less they can frighten you. Both insomnia and sleep paralysis teach us that sleep is not always a simple descent into darkness. Sometimes the mind hovers, caught in places where the waking world and the dream world overlap. In those spaces, patience is your strongest guide. Trust that your inner ocean knows the way back to calm waters. So tonight, if you find yourself staring at the ceiling, mind racing with thoughts that refuse to rest, remember that the tide does not stay stuck forever. If you wake up trapped between sleep and waking, remember that you are never truly lost. Breathe slowly, speak gentle words to yourself like a lullaby. Know that the calm you seek is waiting beneath the shallows, always ready to carry you down where dreams bloom and your spirit can drift, held safe in the deepest part of the night. Chapter 23. The Ocean of Animal Sleep. When you close your eyes at night and slip beneath the soft waves of sleep, it is easy to believe that you are alone in your dreaming. But the truth is that all around you, across forests, oceans, fields, and skies, countless other creatures are drifting in their own quiet tides of sleep. Each one has its own rhythms, its own mysteries, and its own ways of keeping watch and letting go. We are not separate from this dreaming world. We are just one small part of nature's vast and ancient ocean of sleep. Consider the dolphin, a creature who lives entirely surrounded by water, but cannot surrender to it completely. Dolphins are air-breathing mammals, so they cannot let their whole mind fall asleep the way we do. If they did, they would sink too deep and never rise again for air. Instead, dolphins have learned to rest half awake. One half of their brain sleeps, while the other half stays alert to the world around them. One eye closes while the other remains open, scanning the water for danger or the breath they must take at the surface. They drift through this delicate balance, rising and sinking, awake and dreaming, woven into a rhythm that lets them survive and dream at once. High above the ocean, some birds have mastered a similar trick. The albatross, who soars over endless seas for days or weeks, sleeps while riding the wind. They can let one half of their brain rest while the other half guides them on the breeze. Some birds nap on the currents, gliding through pockets of warm air as their wings remain spread wide. Imagine that, dreaming while moving, resting while traveling. These creatures remind us that sleep does not always mean lying down in stillness. Sometimes it means trusting the currents to hold you, even as you drift between awareness and the dream. On land, the variety is just as wondrous. Cats curl into soft circles for hours, surrendering to sleep as if it were a warm blanket they could pull over their thoughts. Horses doze standing up, muscles locking into place so they do not fall, only lowering themselves to the ground when they need the deep, dreaming stages that make their bodies strong again. Bears slumber through entire seasons, letting winter pass like a single long exhale. Their bodies slow, their breathing softens, and yet inside, life hums on. The slow heartbeat of a creature who knows that sleep can be a bridge through cold and hunger, carrying them to spring. Even tiny creatures are part of this dreaming ocean. A goldfish hovers in the water, eyes open but mind drifting, its brain dipping into quiet pulses that echo the slow waves of our deepest sleep. A snake curls in a hidden burrow, its stillness so complete that its body seems carved from the earth itself. Yet inside, the same cycles of rest and restoration spin on. Humans like to believe we are separate from the animals who share this world with us. We build walls and roofs and soft beds, and we light the darkness with lamps that chase away the night. But inside our minds, we still swim in the same ocean. Our brainwaves rise and fall like the dolphins' slow pulses. Our awareness sometimes floats half awake, like the bird balancing on the wind. We dream stories that carry our spirits far from the places where our bodies lie. Just as the bear's deep slumber carries it through long months it never fully sees. To watch animals sleep is to remember that rest is not laziness or weakness. It is part of the wisdom that nature built into all of us. It is a time when the body repairs, the mind sorts its treasures, and the spirit gathers the energy to rise and move again. We are not separate from this ancient pattern. We are woven into it, breath by breath, heartbeat by heartbeat. So tonight, when you close your eyes and feel your thoughts drift away, imagine yourself as one small creature floating in this boundless ocean of sleep. You are no different from the whale rising to breathe before sinking again, from the bird gliding through moonlit skies while half dreaming, from the cat who trusts the darkness to hold it safe. Let this remind you that you do not have to hold on so tightly. Sleep is not something you must chase or force. It is your birthright, a tide that carries you where you need to go. In the morning, when you wake, remember that all through the night, you were part of something bigger, the vast and hidden world of living beings who trust the night to restore them. You are not alone. You are never alone in this great, quiet sea. You belong to nature's dreaming ocean, and it belongs to you. Chapter 24, The Unanswered Mystery. Where does it all go? Each night, as the sun dips below the horizon and the world around you grows quiet, you find yourself on the edge of something so familiar, yet so endlessly mysterious. You lie down and pull the blankets close, close your eyes, and feel your mind slip beneath the surface of waking life. Your body grows heavy, your thoughts slow like a river settling into its bed, and then something happens. You are no longer here in the way you were just moments before. You have crossed into the realm of sleep, a vast hidden sea where your consciousness drifts through dreams, silences, and strange currents that no one fully understands. For centuries, people have asked the same question: where does it all go? Where does the voice that says, "I am awake," fade when sleep takes over? Scientists have mapped the waves of our brains during each stage of sleep. They have watched the electrical currents that sweep through the cortex, the flickering bursts that paint our dreams. They know when our muscles grow limp and when our eyes dart behind closed lids. They know when the mind dips into deep, slow wave sleep and when it rises into the colorful swirl of REM. But the simple, profound question remains: where does our sense of self hide in all that darkness and light? Some thinkers believe that our consciousness never truly disappears. They say it just changes shape. It pulls inward, like a ship's lantern dimmed during a long night at sea. The crew still tends the deck, the waves still rock the hull, but the light glows faint and soft, hidden within the walls of the ship. In sleep, your awareness does not vanish. It slips into different rooms of the mind, doing work you cannot see. It replays memories, untangles feelings, tests ideas, and rehearses the future in dreams that feel as real as the waking world. And yet when you wake, the details often dissolve like mist. You open your eyes and reach for them, but they drift away before you can gather them all. Other researchers suggest that perhaps consciousness is not one light, but many small candles flickering in the dark. During sleep, some flames die down, while others burn brighter. The default mode network hums in the background. The dreamer's mind lights up with visions, while the logical gatekeeper rests. Parts of you stay awake just enough to keep you safe, to roll you over when your arm grows numb, to lift you from a dream when the shadows grow too dark. But the center of you, the steady voice that says, "I am here," sinks below the surface for a while, as if it trusts the depths to hold it. For centuries, myths have tried to answer this question in ways that science still cannot. Ancient Egyptians imagined the Ba bird, your spirit with a human face and wings, lifting off each night to travel through hidden worlds. In many indigenous cultures, your soul walks paths that the body cannot. Even today, people who study dreams speak of the inner traveler, that part of us that moves through forests and cities that exist only in the folds of our minds. Maybe consciousness does not hide at all. Maybe it wanders. No one can say for sure. Even the best tools that peer inside the sleeping brain show only patterns and pulses. They do not show the spark that lets you know yourself. They do not explain how you slip into dreams that feel like forgotten memories or future visions. They cannot tell you why a single image, a street you have never walked, a face you have never seen, can feel more real than the pillow beneath your head. Perhaps this is what makes sleep so beautifully human. We are creatures of knowledge and discovery, always trying to understand what we see. Yet when the night comes, we are asked to surrender to something we can never fully grasp. We lie down and give ourselves to the dark, trusting that we will return in the morning. We trust that our mind knows the way back, even when we do not. And in this surrender, there is a quiet kind of wonder. The next time you find yourself drifting towards sleep, think of this mystery not as something to solve, but as something to cherish. Let yourself slip beneath the surface without needing to hold it all in your hands. Trust that your consciousness will go where it must, into the silences where memories heal, into the wild gardens of your dreams, into the places that hold your deepest questions and the seeds of your boldest hopes. When you wake, you will bring back pieces, a glimpse of a dream, the echo of a feeling, a sense of having traveled far within yourself. The rest will remain in the depths, waiting for the next night, when you close your eyes and sail again into that great unanswered mystery. Some things are meant to be explored, but never fully known. And maybe that is the truest gift of sleep, the reminder that some parts of us are bigger than understanding, and that our spirit is wide enough to drift through realms we cannot see, always returning with the dawn. Chapter 25, Holding the Wonder, Embracing the Mystery. Each night, when you lay your head down on your pillow, you stand at the edge of something vast and beautifully unknown. You may think of sleep as just a daily habit, a necessity like water or air, but in truth, it is one of the deepest mysteries we touch in our everyday lives. We spend nearly 1/3 of our lifetime sleeping, yet no one fully knows where our thoughts go when our eyes close and the world falls away. Scientists can describe the waves and patterns of the brain. They can name the stages that hold our dreams and the currents that wash our memories clean. But the heart of it, the silent wonder of what it means to drift away from ourselves and come back, remains something no machine can measure. It is easy in our world to feel uneasy when we do not have answers. We like clear explanations, tidy facts, reasons we can point to when someone asks us why. But sleep does not bend to our need for certainty. It is older than science. It is older than our first questions about it. And it is so much bigger than our busy minds can hold. To lie down each night is to practice trust. Trust that you will drift into this vast ocean of the mind, and that you will return, carried by currents you do not control, but that somehow know exactly what you need. Some nights you might wonder why your mind still spins when you want rest. You might wake up from dreams that make no sense at all, or slip through nightmares that leave you breathless in the dark. You might feel the edge of fear tug at you, the fear that you are not in charge, that you cannot hold on to your awareness like a candle that burns all night. But this is the quiet truth sleep teaches us. You do not need to hold everything together while you rest. You are allowed to loosen your grip. You are allowed to let go of what weighs you down. The wonder of sleep is that it takes you exactly as you are. You do not have to be perfect, or ready, or free of worry. You can lie down carrying your tangled thoughts, your old regrets, your hopes that feel too fragile to speak out loud. Sleep is patient. It knows how to take your burdens and scatter them like driftwood into the wide sea. It washes them over the waves, sorting what to keep and what to let go. You do not have to do this work alone. You are not alone. In this way, sleep is more than a break from your day. It is a teacher, reminding you that there is wisdom in surrender. When you close your eyes, you step into the same mystery that your ancestors stepped into thousands of years ago. They did not know exactly where their minds traveled either. They only knew that dreams would come. They knew that the darkness was not empty, but alive with hidden paths that led them back to themselves. They trusted the night to carry their spirit, while their body rested in the safety of sleep. Tonight, if you find yourself restless or afraid to drift into that deep place, pause for a moment, take a breath. Remind yourself that this mystery is not your enemy. It is your companion. It is the gentle tide that holds you, the quiet rhythm that rocks you back and forth until the noise of the day dissolves. When you feel the first waves of sleep rising up to meet you, let them take you. You do not need to steer the boat. You do not need to chart the ocean floor. All you need to do is trust that you will drift where you must and return when you are ready. You may not remember every dream. You may never find words big enough to hold what you see and feel when you are deep below the surface. That is okay. Some things are meant to remain wild and ungraspable. That is part of what makes sleep a gift. It is a reminder that you are more than your conscious thoughts, more than your daily worries. You are a living being connected to an ancient sea that welcomes you back every time you close your eyes. So hold the wonder gently. Do not chase answers that slip through your fingers like water. Let yourself rest in the knowledge that some mysteries do not need solving, they need honoring. When you surrender to sleep, you honor the part of you that is still a child, looking at the stars in wide-eyed awe. You honor the quiet courage it takes to trust what you cannot see. And when morning comes, you will rise again from that hidden sea, carrying a bit of its calm and its mystery within you. You will step back into the light, knowing that you are always held by something greater than any waking worry. Sleep is not an escape, it is an embrace. It is a promise that each night you are invited to return, to let go, and to drift once more into the vast and peaceful ocean of your mind. And so here we are at the edge of our gentle voyage through the hidden seas of sleep. If you have drifted with me this far, I want you to know how deeply I appreciate your company on this quiet journey. You have explored your own mind's ocean, its calm tides, its secret reefs, its sudden storms, and its bright sparkling currents of dreams. Together we have peered into the science that tries to explain what happens when your eyes close, and we have also honored the wonder that remains unmeasured, untamed, and still beautifully unknown. Think back for a moment on all the places you have visited within yourself tonight. You have seen how your brain works like a patient fisherman, casting wide nets to gather memories and letting drift away what you no longer need to carry. You have glimpsed the vast theater where your mind spins stories on a stage lit by hidden lights, and you have watched dreams swim like glowing jellyfish through your inner sea. You have felt the deep comfort that comes with knowing you are not alone, that all living things rest in their own way, from the dolphin drifting half awake to the bird riding the wind while it sleeps on the breeze. You have learned that it is natural for your mind to breach the surface now and then, like a whale rising for air before sinking back into the dark calm. Göttürk, you have discovered that even when storms come in the form of nightmares or restless thoughts, they too are part of the ocean's living balance, waves that rise and break and pass. And above all, you have been reminded that the mystery of where your spirit travels each night is not a puzzle you need to solve. It is an invitation to trust what you cannot see. Tonight, as you lay your head on your pillow, I hope you remember this. You do not need to control the currents that carry you. You do not need to grip the oars or chart every map. You are allowed to surrender. You are allowed to float, like the gentle sailor who knows when to drop anchor and when to let the tide guide the boat. You too can rest in the quiet certainty that sleep knows where to take you. If you find yourself staring at the ceiling, thoughts spinning in tight circles, pause and remind yourself that this is just your mind's way of releasing the day. Let your breath become the tide. Let your heartbeat echo the hush of the deep. Trust that just beneath the noise is a vast calm waiting to hold you. Thank you for spending these moments with the Snoozy Scientist. Thank you for letting your mind wander and rest, explore, and settle. It has been my joy to share this space with you, a safe harbor where curiosity and calm can live side by side. You are part of a family of dreamers now, people who see sleep not just as an end to the day, but as a gentle return to a place within themselves that is always waiting, always ready to heal, restore, and inspire. So drift tonight in waters that are kind to you. May your mind find the softest currents, your body the deepest rest, your spirit the freedom to wander without fear. May your dreams be gentle and your heart unburdened. And when you wake, may you carry a piece of this calm into the bright hours of your day. If this journey has brought you peace, I invite you to stay connected with the Snoozy Scientist. Like this video, if it brought you a sense of calm, share it with someone who could use a gentle drift through their own inner sea. And please subscribe to our channel so that you never drift alone. There will always be another story, another reflection, another chance to remember that you are part of this great, mysterious ocean of sleep. Until we drift together again, I wish you quiet dreams and restful tides. Float safely tonight, knowing that you are always held by the mystery that loves you just as you are. Breathe in, let go, drift, rest, and good night.